Well, good morning, everyone. On behalf of Administrator Dominguez, I'd like to welcome you to our Hazardous Liquid Integrity Verification Workshop. Appreciate everyone traveling a long way to this event. And also to remind you, this event is being webcast today, and we'd like to welcome the webcast viewers as well. Jeff Weiss would be up here to kick things off, but Jeff and I are kind of dividing and conquering. Jeff is at the office tending to the store, as the last 2 days we had our Pipeline Advisory Committee meetings in this very room, actually. So he's back at the store minding the store, that is. My name is Alan Maybury. My role at PHMSA is I'm the Deputy Associate Administrator for Policy and Programs. And the purpose of the workshop today is really to bring the best minds to bear on an issue that we've been tossing around at the agency, and I know I've had some discussions with you on it as well. This is a technical workshop. The role here is to talk about the technical issues relevant to an integrity verification process for liquid pipelines. We did a similar type workshop on the gas side, and ultimately later led to rulemaking. I will say on the hazardous liquid side, we're not in rulemaking yet. So that's why we put these events on, like this workshop, really to gather data before we head to rulemaking, but we're not in rulemaking yet. Well, why are we here today? I know some may think, well, PHMSA actually doesn't have a mandate related to hazardous liquid integrity verification. On the gas side, we had the backdrop of San Bruno, certainly in grandfather pipelines, but in a resulting mandate and recommendations from the NTSB. But yet, as the regulator, as our oversight authority tells us to do, we're entrusted really to focus on pipeline safety and really take action beyond, not just by what we're told to do through mandates or recommended to do through regulation or through recommendations, but also to see, from our unique role looking across the industry, across the U.S., where are areas where improvements can be made in pipeline safety. Certainly with liquid pipelines, through our observations in the aftermath of failures and the aftermath or after inspections, we've noticed that there's a continuing theme. It's not unique to gas pipelines, transmission or distribution, but also with liquid lines, the level of knowledge of the operator. Again, both in the aftermath of a failure or as the results of our inspections have shown, clearly operators need to know more. Operators are responsible for operating their system and for performance. So the effort here and a big focus of hazardous liquid IVP is knowledge of your system. Certainly it deals with how you verify the MOP of your system, the maximum operating pressure, but it also deals, the conversation always goes back to what do you know about your system? And that's a big focus of the integrity verification process, is your knowledge of the system, record keeping, and that sort of thing. Before we get into the feature presentations today, I'd just like to go through a few logistics items. And I might have gotten ahead of myself here. I guess, with our next slide, I've got up here, I think I'm a little off cue there, Max, but, again, we're here for dialogue. We're here to engage, and it's up to all of you to really to engage and really ask questions. And also, if you have knowledge, the purpose is to really bring the best minds to bear on the issues. We realize everyone has a busy summer. I know we had a sluggish start as far as getting participants for this workshop because of summer vacations and the like. I think people were taking their last vacation, so we really appreciate the time that people take away from their day jobs and away from home to come here to present. We're very grateful for that. As far as, for those of you present here, the emergency exits are to my right, to your left. Those three doors head out downstairs and outside, and then if you go out the left side here, you have to turn left and another left, and you'll end up in the same area that those doors end up. Or you could go right as well, but I think the quickest way is to go left as you exit here out these doors. As far as cell phones, if you would, put them on silence mode or vibrate. We also have a set up through Twitter. You can tweet questions. If you have questions at any time, we're monitoring our Twitter account, and that address is shown up there right now. Unfortunately, with the federal government, I'm sorry, we don't offer coffee at these events. We do offer good Northern Virginia, D.C. area water, however. It's cold, it's good, so there's plenty of that. It's all you can drink, I assure you there. Restrooms, if you go out these doors here on my left, and about a mile down the hallway, you'll see restrooms beyond the elevators on the right there. As far as today's agenda goes, I know, Ken, I might steal a little bit from you. I'm going to turn it over to Ken Lee, our Director of Engineering, here in a moment. But just real quickly, on the agenda, those of you hopefully on the webcast, you have the agenda that was connected with the link, but we do have agenda at the front registration desk if you need that. We also, today, we have a copy of the flow chart. We also have a full-size version in the back there, the flow chart that describes the hazardous liquid integrity verification process. It's very similar to the gas one that we had at our workshop as well. And then, especially for those that are local, as far as lunch options, we have a list of restaurants that are in the area, the immediate area. I think there is one in the hotel, but there's also a variety of selections in the Crystal City Mall, which you take through an underground tunnel to access those. So a wide variety of here. I know here in Northern Virginia, really we have the world at our doorstep, so the restaurant list is kind of reflective of that as well. So a wide selection there. So as far as our agenda goes, I'm going to kick it off today, and Ken will be our moderator for the first panel. We're going to go the first two presentations with Robert Hall and Steve Nanny, and then we'll have Q&A after that. And related to questions, we do have microphones here, and then we also, on our webcast, you can also send questions as well through the Twitter link, through the Twitter feed, or there's also a link to, email link to asking questions. Please, we will try to get to all of them. If we don't at this workshop, we will answer them outside the workshop and post them. If you do have a question, please state your, if you're here, please state your name and your affiliation. And I think that covers Q&A. Looking forward to a great dialogue. I tell you what, out of just curiosity, as far as who's represented here, how many operators are in the room? Okay. Then how about vendors? Okay, about maybe a third of the group. And then any members of the media here? Okay, my favorite question, anyone sitting next to a member of the media? Okay, no? Okay. Okay, I think I covered up front, the Vanna White duties up front. Ken, I think let me finish covering the agenda here. As far as, we'll break for lunch at, we have a mid-morning break, and then we'll get the state perspective from Joe. Thanks for coming from Washington State. And then Carl Weimer from Pipeline Safety Trust just before noon. He'll lead us up to noon, and then from noon Eastern time to 1:30, hour and a half, we'll have lunch. And then afterwards, we'll have the operator perspectives on hazardous liquid IVP after lunch. We'll have a break, and then panel discussions. We'll bring everyone back to just a last Q&A, and then we'll break at 4 o'clock. I'll come back to you and kind of summarize and break from there. As far as where we go from here, again, I said, we're not in rulemaking right now. We're really in the data gathering mode. That's why we put these workshops on. They're valuable for us to gather information as we develop a policy. Necessarily for the conversation, we present a framework, and that's what we have here today to talk from. But we're also open to your ideas, and we want your ideas on, certainly like the concept of engineering critical assessment, ECA. I know there's a lot of discussion around what is that, what do you mean by that? I tell you, at PHMSA, we're really looking forward, as we go forward, to developing technical solutions to some of the challenges that are out there. Where is a hydrostatic test appropriate, or where is inline inspection? where's the development of tools that are available to give you the confidence that is needed to ensure the verification of the asset that's in the ground? We're anxious for the technology to improve on that, and I think on that it really is a call for all of us, especially operators, to make sure that we put R&D funding in the places where they're most effective, and this is a key area I think that warrants further research, certainly. Okay, with that, I think I will turn it over to Ken, who will introduce our first speaker. Thanks.
We have another slide.
Okay, I kind of covered this, but this actually gives you the email address for those on the webcast. Again, that's a link you can access for questions or tweet us as well. So anyway, I'll let you cover it.
And all of these files will be on our website, on the website meeting page. So we welcome your comments here and on the docket.